my channel, guys, and hello if you are new. Alright, so today, as you can see by the title of this video, we're going to be talking about meal planning. Now, I really didn't know what to title this because I am incorporating so many different tips, but these are all things that help me kind of plan what I'm eating and then eat right when I am actually eating. So these are just the things that work for me. Hopefully I give you some ideas and hopefully you are able to receive some sort of tips from this video. Alright, so I kind of just want to get straight into this video with my first tip, which is to have always and sometimes baskets in both your pantry and your fridge. Now, having these baskets in your pantry and fridge will just help you to kind of make better eating choices. Now, in the always basket, you can keep things like fruit, veggie sticks, yogurt, anything that is a really good option for you to eat. Then in your sometimes basket, that's where you keep kind of your things that are still good, but maybe not as good. So things that would be in your maybe basket might be things like, we have diet chocolate mousse. And I know that diet foods are not always that great, but it's really just a snack for us for when we are feeling sweet toothish. And it's a better option than the alternative, let's just say that. And then I kind of just have this rule with the snack baskets, and basically I will grab from the good snack basket first, and if that didn't satisfy me, then I will go for the less good alternatives. So that can be great to kind of fill you up on the good stuff, and then you kind of just snack and are a little bit peckish when it comes to the worse off stuff. And sometimes that means that you won't even get around to eating the worse off stuff because you've eaten and you've filled up on the good stuff. It's much less a way to store your food and much more a way to keep yourself thinking about eating right. So my next idea is to plan out all of your meals. By this I mean make sure that you have ideas for what you're having for breakfast, snacks, lunch, dinner, and just kind of keep a list of those readily available. Now, we kind of stick our meal list on the fridge or on the side of the fridge so it's not seen. And then we can always refer back to that whenever we're hungry, whenever we're, looking for a meal to cook. Sometimes when you open the pantry and the fridge, you can kind of just get a little overwhelmed and think that there's nothing in there, when really there are a lot of options in there. And I sound like a little bit of a mum by saying that there is things in the fridge, but the thing is, you're probably looking for something specific and you're not going to find that. So it's a really good idea to just kind of give yourself a good idea of what you have in your fridge, what is available for you to eat, and you're more likely to eat the things that you buy and you're less likely to waste your food. And planning for all of your meals versus just planning for dinners will give you a much better idea of what you actually have available. I don't specifically plan my meals to specific days. I kind of have my meal plan ready so that I can choose any of those meals at any of my times. Now, the way I do this for breakfast and for snacks is I pretty much just have like 3 or 4 options of things that I can have throughout the week, and then I kind of choose those things on those days. We've got our list of meals, we kind of know what's there before even opening the pantry or the fridge, so we kind of know what we're going in there for. That's why assessing your pantry and your fridge before you go shopping is a great idea. Which kind of moves me on to my next topic, which is checking the freezer and the pantry before you go shopping and using the ingredients that you may not have used the week before in the next week's shopping. Now, this is a great way to avoid spoilage in your pantry and in your freezer, because you're constantly using those things and you don't really have things sitting in there for 6 months or a very long time at all, because you're constantly revisiting those meals and those ingredients. A great example of this is the fact that we have schnitzels and we have lamb left over from last fortnight, which we can then carry on into meals for this fortnight. Alright, so my next tip is to write out a meal list. Now this is similar to my my tip of planning all of your meals, but this is specifically for your dinners and for your lunches if you prep those as well. But basically I will write out all of my days, which for me is 14 different days. But yeah, basically I have all of my meals in a list, and then I go through those meals whilst looking in my pantry and my freezer. The reason I do this is so that I don't over purchase things. And I find that the meals list is just a great way to refer back to when you're writing your shopping list, because you can say Monday schnitzel and veg. You can look in your freezer and check if you've got veggies. You can look in your freezer and check if you've got schnitzels. Then you can move on to the next thing, ravioli. What do you need to buy for that? What do you have already for that? And I just find it it's a good way to kind of find what you need for your recipes. You don't get to a night and realize that you've forgotten something, and it's just a great way to kind of make sure that you've got everything that you need for the week, and make sure that you're not buying things that you don't need. Another thing that you can do is to meal prep, and this is where we get into the nitty-gritty. So actually preparing your meals before you even need to eat them. Now you can do this the night before, you can do this the week of, you can do this 2 weeks before. So prepping some of your meals can be really beneficial. Some people will prep their breakfast, some people will prep their lunches, and some people will prep their dinners. Personally, so I meal prep our lunches. Some of our dinners I will have either half prepped or fully prepped and ready to go. And I think it's just a great way to not have to think about what you're eating every single day. I will get most of this done on one day, and if I don't get it all done, then I will finish a couple of recipes in the days coming or the days after. And I find that this is a really good way to kind of stay on top of what you've got. And at the end of the week, I find that I've got heaps of leftover meals that can carry on into the next week, which is great because then I've got a lot less to cook that week, or I can constantly stay on top of it. Plus, having those meals prepped for the nights where you're really not feeling like cooking can really be a lifesaver when it comes to, you know, breaking your diet. If you've already got those meals in the freezer ready to go, you're less likely to break your diet and make bad decisions when it comes to food. Following on from that point is takeout. Now, you kind of want to account for the nights where you are going to want takeout, account for the nights where you don't want to cook. And I have done this. We give ourselves one cheat day a week, and this usually falls on a Sunday. But we usually get one cheat day a week, and then we also get a takeout night a week. Now these are separate. Now the reason for this is because we will have, so in a fortnight we've got 2 takeout nights for the 1 week, and then 2 takeout nights for the next week. Now that sounds like a lot, but we are pretty busy people, and we will generally get something healthy. So one of those nights will be Subway, and the next night will be chicken from a place that bakes it. The reason that we do this is because we know that we're going to have those nights where we're not going to want to make the best decisions. And I don't want to set us up for failure. I don't want to not account for those times because I know they're going to happen. There's no point pretending that these times are not going to come up. There's no point just hoping that you will make the right decision, or taking steps beforehand to ensure that you do make the right decision is the best way to succeed. Cheat days are necessary for me, and they may not be necessary for you. You really need to find out whether that's something that you need. I mean, I will hold out all week until my cheat day to eat something, but you might find that having a small portion of something each day works better for you, and that is fine as well. Now, instead of meal prepping, you might find that it's easier for you to just make a little extra some nights. This is my next point. So just making a little bit extra on the nights where you have an easy meal. So something like, this isn't really a heaps healthy thing, but spaghetti bolognese. Say you made up 2 lots of that, then you don't even have to think about it for one night. And it's really easy to just make up a double batch of something and just store it away, and then you've got it to go back to later on in the week, and it didn't even take that much extra effort. My 8th tip is to do what works for you. By this I mean take everything that I say with a grain of salt. If you are someone who needs to meal prep every single thing one day and get it all out of the way, then that's what you should do. And if you are someone who needs to cook all of their meals every single night, then you do that. Go for it. But don't take what I say and think that that is exactly how you should be doing things. You really need to evaluate where you're at and know exactly what is going to work for you. And a lot of the time you will find these things out through trial and error, so don't be afraid to try new things. Some things do work and some things don't. My next tip is portion sizes. Now, this can be really, really good when it comes to meal prepping because you can actually weigh out your portions. Now, if you may not want to go to that extent, I think kind of just limiting yourself when it comes to eating. Portion sizes can really help you to, first of all, know exactly how much you're eating, and second of all, to limit how much you're eating, which, you know, is not going to be a bad thing in a lot of cases. Alright, so this last tip, I can't believe that I'm already on the last tip. Wait, 2 seconds. Do you know, when I'm filming, I always forget that I've got my tea sitting here and then I drink it and it's cold. Alright, so my very last tip, and probably one of my biggest. I live by this rule, and that is to not go shopping on an empty stomach. Every single time that I go shopping when I am hungry, I make bad decisions. But cream, mousse, Nutella, cake, donuts, every other bad thing that I can think of, I want it in that moment. When I am hungry, there is nothing that will stop me. So the best advice that I can give you is to eat about 30 minutes before you're going shopping, because that gives your brain some time to register that you have eaten food. And you'll find yourself making a lot less crappy decisions. But yeah, so basically going shopping on an empty stomach is a bad idea and I really don't recommend it. So those are all of my kind of meal prep, healthy eating, good eating habits. I don't even know what I'm going to title this video, but that is the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed. I hope you found something that would help you. With all of that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you soon with another video. Bye guys.